And so we are back with more Sunday finals action. 3 great matches already. Marin taking gold for the women in the singles event. Then Victor Axelsen, and the day was kicked off by Fischer Nielsen and Christina Pedersen, coming from 1 set down to take a gold in the mixed doubles. Next up, it's the women's doubles. I'm joined by Julian Robertson, the man in charge of doubles in the England setup. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us. And what can we expect from this game coming up? One side probably definitely the favorites, but as we've come to see already in this tournament, that always, or not always, the way things unfold.
Yeah, obviously coming into the match, the Danes are clearly strong favourites, sitting at number 4 in the world rankings. They're really challenging the best players in the world at the minute, and definitely look like potential to achieve medal success in Rio. The Dutch, on the other hand, have also had a great year. You know, they've risen from sort of late 30s into the top 10 at one stage. They're just outside now, but they've also beaten some top Koreans in there. And I think they'll have a good battle today. I think they'll try to put up a fight, and I think tactically they know what they need to do to take away some of the Danish strengths. But then it's a different matter about executing that.
And the Dutch duo coming in as underdogs. Can that help them sort of settle their nerves early? Nothing to lose, I suppose, for them.
No, I think from yesterday they were so pleased to be in the final and get the guaranteed silver. I think they can relax now and play free. Sometimes that could work both ways. You can respond in a way where you could really step up and feel no pressure, or you could just be satisfied with getting the silver and play below par. So let's hope that they come out and they really challenge the Danes and try to push them on the back foot a bit.
Well, with that Danish duo, Christina Pedersen, the big name probably in this match, already won gold, already won gold that she's backed up with another one in the mixed doubles. Now the women's doubles, a chance to repeat her 2014 success there. Just how good of a double specialist is Christina Pedersen?
She's you know, proven that she can deliver at the highest level. She's Olympic bronze medalist in mixed. As I said, they've won big tournaments now in ladies as well. I think Juhl is also going for a 5th European title with 3 different partners, so that in itself is fantastic. These two will be really up for this, and they'll want to grab this title. They want to keep pushing on and show that they're the best in Europe.
Well, we've talked to Jakob, we had Tim Willis here before. I've asked both of them the same question. I'll ask it to you as well. What have been your highlights of the tournament so far, and what's been your biggest surprise or surprise package in terms of players out on the court?
I think there's been a lot of surprises. I think the biggest thing for me this week is obviously there's been a lot of emotions around seeing in Olympic places. So there's been players that are playing matches that they're down and out, and then suddenly they respond and win, and that's their ticket for Rio. So there's been a lot of emotions in the week. And obviously some of the young players really stepping up against some of the senior players and actually showing that they can compete with these guys, and these are the players of the future.
Definitely. And what about fellow Brit, Kirsty? Fantastic tournament for her as well. I mean, to even get to the final, she probably didn't think that was necessarily going to happen. Obviously, you go into every tournament believing you can make it all the way, but perhaps a surprise finish for her today, finishing with a silver medal against a very, very strong Marin.
Yeah, obviously coming in 2nd seed. A bit of pressure to reach her first European final. Executed well from yesterday's semi-final. Came back from a little bit of a scare against Thea Madsen. But then again today, she played some great stuff. Her 2nd set wasn't far away. But Marin's, that's why she's number 1 in the world, and she's 2 times world champion and now 2 times European champion.
Well, things about to get underway here. The coin toss underway already. And we are looking forward to what should be another fantastic final. The favorites from Denmark in the driving seat in a lot of people's minds. But as Julian's already mentioned, I think in a final, anything possible and all doors open.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. I think the first sort of 11 points will sort of set the tone for the match to see where each pair is. The Danes will come out very quick, and they'll try to apply a lot of pressure. They'll try to push the Dutch players back. They're very good. The style that the Danes will play is very much counter style. So the Dutch have got to be really wary. They've got to be wary of Juhl's left hand coming forwards. And obviously the defence from the Danes is very creative. They're very good at outmanoeuvring opponents to get, and then they'll suddenly switch it to get counter-attack, and then they'll move in and be very clinical from the front.
And the Dutch duo, as you said already, very impressive indeed. What would you say their strengths are going into here, and what do they need to concentrate when thinking about their own game and possibly not necessarily the Danes when in this final?
Yeah, I think they'll go in and they'll try to enjoy this match. That's the biggest thing for them. There's no pressure. But I think they're very solid at the minute, the two Dutch. They're quite consistent on the World Tour. They've got a very steady game that seems to suit against a lot of the Asian pairs. And that's why they've achieved, again. So this match, I think they'll know where the Danes' strengths are, and I think they'll try to play in a completely different style that's not, the Danes can't adopt that aggressive style. So I think they'll try to work them quite a bit from the backcourt, playing blocks in front of them to not let them gain the attack, and that I think will be a big part of this match.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Once again, thanks, Julian, for joining us. Should be another cracker. We've had 3 already, and the day just getting better and better. Julian, what have you thought about the venue here in France? First time the Europeans have ever been in France. Have they done a good job? How have the fans been?
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, if the crowds today, I think it's nearly maximum sellout. So you're looking at 4,500 people in there, and it's just great to see. And I think that's been the general theme throughout the week, that there's a lot of passionate supporters here in France, obviously like badminton. It's a curriculum sport now, so there's more people playing, and I think Pedersen now, who's in charge of the French setup, is obviously doing a great job. And I think the more they get badminton out there, especially in schools, I think more players will come through, and I think the sport will take off even bigger.
And is it something we perhaps need more of in England as well, or has it been growing as quickly as it has in France? Really has exploded in the last 5 to 10 years in France.
Yeah, it's very difficult in England. I mean, we've just set up the new, we have an NBL league, which is getting more players. We get some foreign players to come over and play, so that's started to take off. This will be in its second year coming up. So it's a start. We're trying to put badminton on the map a little bit more, and also the grassroots level, we're trying to get into there so more kids will play, and hopefully we'll get champions of the future as well.
Well, if the players that were involved in this tournament and have been for England over the past few years are anything to go by, I think we're in good hands.
Yeah, definitely.
So things about to get underway. Here we go in the women's final in the doubles. And Muskens and Piek draw first blood. Early days though. And that's something Juhl's been doing all week there, Julian.
Yeah, I mean, she's got great attack, and you see her there at the front court. It's very difficult. You have to try to get the shuttle away from her, otherwise that's going to be a winner. So Pedersen very accurate there down the middle.
And a good rally here early on. Not a bad start to this match, Julian.
Yeah, great placement there by Piek. That's one of her stronger sides, is around the head coming forwards. That's one of her areas where she can catch a lot of people. And again, great placement on attack.
So Musken Piek back in the lead, 2-1. Early days here in the first set. What do they need to concentrate on most during the first few points here?
I think they just have to set a good tone, really be really consistent and try to work the Danes quite a bit. And as I said, they're looking quite aggressive at the minute. So obviously they're not shy of getting involved with the Danes in their strong areas. So they're not sitting back, they're actually taking it to them.
Well, good to see, and a great match already. And Pedersen really attacking the serve there, great anticipation.
Yeah, read the serve really well there, and obviously Juhl's then backing up that really strong left hand. Lots of power coming through there, and a great placement.
And perhaps a little bit of nerves on show here at the start of the game.
Not quite settled yet.
And unlucky there. Good work to keep the rally alive, but just couldn't come up with the finish in the end.
Mistake from Muskens there at the back. I mean, that's an area where she has improved over the last 12 months, normally very solid from that area. It's going to be a little bit of exchange of who wants to be the most aggressive and have more success. And I think at the minute the Dutch are holding their own.
And it just caught slightly off guard there. A little late to come forward.
Yeah, just a little bit slow on that receiving. There's quite a few service errors. So obviously the players are not really settled yet.
So nerves on show at both ends of the court here. And so it continues, Julian.
Yeah, I think it's really important that Selena and Effie try to get as much lead as possible, because if you give any opportunity to the Danes, they'll take it, and that's where they're really good.
So 5 points each, all square here in the first set. A set with far too many errors at both ends, as far as the players will be concerned. But this more like it.
It's good play from Selena again, seeing an opportunity to get forward, as you see here.
And showing good patience as well, but a dangerous game to play against the Danes when you've got someone with the power like, well, either of them, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, Juhl's obviously the most powerful one, but I think the good thing here is that the Dutch, they don't seem to be very scared. They seem to think, well, let's challenge them. And the Danes definitely, as you can see, have not really settled. They're quite edgy at the minute.
Perhaps the first time someone's really decided to go at them so far this tournament. They've dominated most of the games they've been in and have found very little resistance. Not a bad game plan there by the Dutch.
It's not. I mean, the Danes coming into this very, not really. I think they've won all the games in 2 sets very comfortable, and this will be their first real test, really, in this tournament.
Well, so far, so good for the Dutch duo of Muskens and Piek. But that more like Pedersen and Juhl.
Yeah, very aggressive play again from Christina coming forwards, knowing that she can have Juhl at the back if it does come through, and then anything on that left hand that's short is normally punished.
Will be interesting to see if her taking part in one final already will have an effect on her fatigue. And again, good patience shown by the Dutch.
Yeah, good patience, and dealt with the Danes' attack really well there, and absorbing it really well, and then suddenly switched the opportunity to get the attack back. Good initiative from the Dutch.
That more like it. Stina Pedersen, it certainly takes a special kind of player to play in 2 finals in 1 day, but if there's someone who can do it, it's definitely her, isn't it, Julian?
Yeah, she's very fit, and she's in good shape at the minute, and I think she does this on the World Tour a lot in big finals, so she'll be looking at this week to do exactly the same and win both these titles. Just a little bit desperate there, playing too tight a margin.
Pedersen and Juhl starting to show what they're made of. Juhl especially in the last 2 games, just so powerful with her smashes. So hard to deal with.
Yeah, this is a big strength of hers against the best players in the world. The top Chinese and Koreans all struggle with Camilla's attack. And obviously when she gets confident, it's very difficult to deal with. Little slip there from Piek.
Slightly unlucky there for Piek, but slowly you get the feeling the Danes just starting to settle in here and start to play their normal game.
Yeah, this is a crucial time now for the Dutch to really stay close. And obviously, again, they're matching them now 9-all, so they're doing well. They seem quite relaxed and seem confident. I think it's the Danes at the minute that have, even though the stronger pair, they seem a little bit more tense. That's unlucky. Great effort. Read that well, just didn't execute in the final shot.
And they're going to have to take chances like that.
Yeah, it's good play by Piek. Played the block and had that chance there, but didn't quite make it. Good move, though. That's a great return. It's quite common in ladies doubles to on a slightly loose serve where the players will play a deep corner to get a weaker return so they can gain the attack.
Worked out perfectly there. Again, Piek. Dictating
exactly
play,
the same. Exactly the same.
The reply comes straight back.
So 2 serves there with a little bit of deception on. One from the Dutch and then one from the Danes. Clear winners on the second shot.
So as we come to the first interval here in the first set of the women's doubles final, pretty much even Stevens, Julian, but I think everyone will be impressed and, well, maybe not surprised, that would be a disservice, but we'll stick with impressed at how the Dutch have come out and really taken the game to the ladies from Denmark.
Yeah, I think they knew they had to. The game plan coming in would be we have to challenge them at some areas where they're good. They can't just rely on playing their own game. They have to challenge also where the Danes are very strong areas, and I think they're doing that at the minute, and they're holding close at the minute. So be interesting to see now what the Danes will do, whether they can push on from this 11 break and apply a little bit more pressure against the Dutch and push them back a little bit more.
Well, we did see in some of the previous games, there were periods in the first set or second set in the games for the Danes where you felt like they hadn't really gotten into a 4th or even a 5th gear, but then they, within the blink of an eye, just completely switched it up, and just like that, then ran away with the set and then the match as well.
Yeah, very clinical at reading off 4 or 5 points very quickly, and that's the danger against this pair. I think this is something where the Dutch need to play obviously above their level to beat these two, and it's sometimes with that also brings risk.
So asking a lot from the Dutch, but they've done extremely well so far. They do find themselves 2 points down. Or make that 1 though. So service fault.
So pretty much even Stevens still. Nobody's really took the lead here to a 2 or 3 point run to get a clear advantage. Yeah, very good again from the Danes, switching the attack, putting the Dutch straight on the defensive and under pressure in the first 4 shots.
And if Pedersen and Juhl do switch it up a gear, which they have done so many times, what do you do if you're the ladies from the Netherlands? Is there anything you can do?
I think they've just got to persevere with it and obviously try to play their own game. Sometimes it's very difficult to adapt a different style. I think their game holds up very well on the World Tour, so I think they'll be planning to stick to that game plan. And again, it does come down, they need to take some risks if they're going to win this match.
I suppose the big question is, when do you take that risk? Timing so key in big finals like this.
Yeah, there are obviously the 4 very experienced players on there, so they'll know when there's a little bit of momentum and they have to make the first move. Normally comes from the Danes because the Dutch will be very wary of what they can do. I think the long exchange rallies for the Dutch will hold them in good stead. I think it's a little bit better tactic for them to try to work the Danes a little bit more, so they play a little bit more big court style and hopefully see some gaps in the front.
So back to a 2-point cushion, albeit a small one. Still very much in the balance this first set. And another fantastic rally. The Danes coming out on top in the end. The Dutch doing everything they can there, and you can't be too angry at them. In the end, it was just too good from the Danes.
Yeah, Pedersen again there from the front, really sort of pushing the shuttle back into difficult parts of the body for the Dutch, and then suddenly it's game over. Just a little bit of Piek trying to force there, a little bit too early. Sometimes the Danes will sort of get you into that. It looks like they give you chances, but they're really ready on defence to counter it. So you have to be really careful about when those shots go in. That's good patience again from the Dutch. Slight little pace change from the back from Muskens. Not known to be a powerful player, but also very clever at placement and control.
Something you mentioned she has been working on, and that coming across here in the final.
Yeah, the last 12 months, she's an area where she's proved is her consistency. Very solid now from the rear court. Again, very dangerous to cross lift there with Juhl coming on round the head, round her forehand. It's very difficult to get away there. As you can see, she's already moving off. Big attack straight down the centre, but great placement as well.
And Juhl wasting no time with that finish. When it comes to doubles, very different to singles. Is there usually one player you look to be making the big calls, calling the big shots, making all the big decisions, or is it really come down to just a solid partnership and just understanding who you're playing with and trusting in whoever makes the decision?
Yeah, I think you have to accept your role. Obviously, each player is slightly different in what they bring to the table. But I think the partnership, how they gel together is really important. But it tends to be that they all have different strengths. But at the highest level, you need to be quite accomplished in everything that you do.
And fantastic defensive work by the ladies from Denmark, but just a little too much to handle in the end. Have to take your hat off to them for the effort, though.
Yeah, again, Piek is in her favourite area, coming round, obviously cross-court shot and then round the head. That's where she's very, very strong. It's quite clinical from that area. But I think the Danes are trying to obviously bring her in and take the energy out of her. And then if that's the case, then they go over the top. They're still in this match, though. Still very tight.
Still just a 2-point gap. The Dutch doing a great job of staying in range here.
It seems that the Danes are quite happy to attack down the middle at the minute, and obviously the Dutch are then trying to create to get the shuttle away. And at the minute they're feeding a little bit too much in that type of situation. And the Danes, at any opportunity when they can gain the attack, they'll do that. And Juhl's obviously very known for a heavy smash, and sometimes you can get quite reactive on your lifts to get the shuttle away, which sometimes can then play into your strengths of your opponents. Danes seem a little bit more comfortable about working the shuttle, a lot more accurate on the lifts at the minute.
And that surely just comes with confidence in your own ability. Having been here in this situation so many times before is just such a helping hand.
Yeah, very experienced, and they know when to put these shuttles into court. But again, there's still mistakes from the Danes, so the Dutch they'll be positive for some of this play they're giving in the first set. They can stay tight.
The flick serve there, but again, Piek right on her toes, reading it perfectly.
Yeah, Piek seems very up for this match at the minute. That's good awareness from Muskens. See Juhl coming in there and then just push past into a gap.
Well read there.
It's a great shot.
And right on the button. Pedersen hoping it was just going to drift out there.
That's good stuff again. Great serve. And again, the shuttle being pushed up to Selena in around the head. It's her strength we spoke about earlier. And again, executed well.
And really impressive. Every time you think the Danes might just be on the verge of pulling away, the Dutch come right back at them.
They're taking it to them, definitely. Yeah, that one's not coming back.
No mistake there by Juhl. Vintage finish from her.
Yeah, great counter shot from Pedersen there, bringing Juhl in straight away. And then, as we said, executed straight away.
Very close first set here.
Just a little bit of lack of discipline from the Dutch there, moving the Danes really well. And then Piek just going too tight to the tape, making the error. It seems the Danes are very good now at critical stages of maintaining the attack.
And they seem to have this uncanny ability of just lulling you into this sense of security and then almost forcing you to make the error.
Yeah, and then 2 points now gives them a set point.
A very clever play there by Juhl.
Left hand again does the damage. I think it all started from the third shot. The return from the Dutch was straight onto Juhl's racket. Nice little soft layoff, and then the Dutch lifted. And 3 shots later, the set's been won by the Danes.
So 21-18 in favor of Pedersen and Ritter Juhl. Perhaps not as easy for them as some people may have thought, but have to give credit to the ladies from the Netherlands. They really came out with a game plan, executed it to a T, and have made a real game of this.
Yeah, I think it was a good signal from the Dutch. It's they're obviously in there because they feel that they've got a great chance against the Danes. Again, they have nothing to lose, so I think they're playing quite free at the minute. The big question now is they need to take the next 2 games, and have they got the reserves and the resilience to do that? The Danes will be looking to get off to a really good start in this second set and obviously put the game to bed. I think I said before the match, I think for me it looked like it could be like 18s and 17s to the Danes, and it ended up like that. But I think the Dutch have showed a good account of themselves so far.
Well, they're going to have to perhaps step it up a notch here in the second. You get the feeling Juhl and Pedersen are going to do exactly that now that they've taken that first set. That one's in the bag. Now time to perhaps go up a gear.
Yeah, I think they'll relax from after taking the first set. A little bit of nerves in the first set, especially up to the first 11, and a little bit towards the end of the first. But I think they're relaxed now, and I think we might see a different pair coming out in this second set.
Well, that second set just around the corner. One more final to come after this in the men's doubles. But still plenty of badminton to be played here in a match that could still go either way. Both sides really showing up for this final and putting on a great show for the fans here in the Vendispas. And the first point goes to Denmark. Pedersen just being asked to speed things up a little. Not the first time we've seen that here at this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a great serve, and it's just the way she prepares. And obviously some players will get frustrated because of the time difference in delivering the serve. But it works for the Danes. Again, see, it's really important that the Dutch stay composed at the beginning of this match if they're going to have a chance. The Danes obviously very strong, and the Dutch just over-forcing a little bit too much there.
And that the advantage of being one of the best partnerships in the world, as your opponent sometimes feels they have to attack when perhaps patience the better option, especially during rallies at crucial times in the game.
Yeah, working the shuttle is really key against the top pairs. And that's where the Danes are very good, very disciplined. They can attack, but they also can defend. And if they need to give it away to let the Dutch waste some energy, then they will do, because they're very strong in defence.
Well, a good start here in the second set for the defending champions. 3-point cushion, but early days.
That's a great first 4 strokes of the rally there. Great serve from Pedersen. Good touch, and then great vision from Piek, just a cross block. It's an area where I think it's important that they have to expose the Danes, get the shuttle in front of them.
And unlucky there. Piek has been so impressive in this game, definitely sort of driving that partnership from the Netherlands forward. Just not able to come up with the goods that time.
Yeah, again, it's into a hitting zone. She's very strong in that area, but then again, just didn't execute again. And it's again a critical time now for the Dutch to stay really solid. Seem a little bit tense now. Danes are getting more and more relaxed, communicating well.
And it seems to have been the pattern for the Danemans in this tournament so far. Doing enough to get themselves into a strong position and then never looking back.
Now, there's obviously, against the Dutch, they know they have to keep the initiative. And I think if they can stay solid and move the shot around and work the Dutch and then really expose them on their attack, then this is where we're going to see probably a different pair in this second set now. Good three-point cushion now. That's a great lift.
Both going for it there.
Yeah, great awareness from the Dutch.
And again, just staying calm there, and they need to find consistency in that, yeah not quite losing their emotions all the time. And
yeah, I think the Dutch played a clever rally there. They didn't get too involved in the flat play, and they went over the Danes quite a few times on attack and hit good depth. So a long rally, then suddenly exchanged for a really short one, and again a three-point cushion.
And the effects of that rally surely playing a part.
Yeah, it's very frustrating when you work hard in a rally, 20, 30 shots, and then just go and give it back on a serve error.
And a bit of a surprise there.
Just a little bit of missed time from Pedersen, broke a string. So similar things happening on both sides, still a little bit of tension on there.
It hasn't been a perfect performance by either team by any means, but still a good final, Julian.
Yeah, it's still a good final. You know, 4-6, couple of points. I mean, they did in the first. They kept the 2 points balance all the way up until 18 in the first, and then just fell away. But it's they're still in there. That's a good move from Muskens there, just coming in, tempting Pedersen, and then Pedersen makes the error. I think it's important that the Dutch still try to keep coming forwards when the opportunity is there. Managed to get away with that. Juhl not really moving her feet to that one.
Not too often that you see Juhl miss an opportunity like that.
Yeah, that should give the Dutch some confidence about hanging on in this match now.
Well, that's fantastic play. Linking up really well there.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication from the Danes there. I think Juhl wanted to go and then backed off and left Pedersen well below tape there, and then Piek again executes with a good kill.
Saw the mistake and eager to capitalize.
It's great vision again. Both Danes caught in one side of the court there. Just a great turn from Piek into the gap.
And taking nothing away from Muskens. She's been very good indeed, but Piek stealing the show a bit for the Dutch here.
Yeah, I think Piek's the one that's making moves at the minute, and she is the more aggressive player out of the two. But with that sometimes comes errors, but they seem to be doing okay at the minute. That's a great attack. Danger zone through the middle to Juhl stepping into that, and there's too much power there to deal with. And the error from Muskens. Again, initiative on attack from the Danes, relentless.
And that's what makes them the defending champions. Every time the Dutch seem to get themselves back into the set, they go and get that lead back and assert their dominance on proceedings.
Yeah, very much so. 2 quick points there, being quite aggressive.
And good communication there between them as well.
Yeah, very good. Just out the back. The last 3 points, the Danes seem to have got their feet moving a little bit better, covering the court. That's unlucky. I think a little bit more height would have stayed in, and the Dutch could have capitalised on that. And that's what we call counterplay at its best from the Danes. Moving the Dutch around, using the width of the court, and then in for the kill. Great shot there by Juhl, and Pedersen finishes off. This is what these two are really known for around the world, that they will make these moves against the best players. And when they do, it's very difficult for players to get it away.
And they seem to be able to keep calling on it at exactly the right time.
Yeah, so we go from 8-7, and then we're suddenly 11-8 down within 4 or 5 points. Really quick points as well. Simple mistakes from the Dutch. It's a common theme with the Danes that these two are very threatening in attack. So sometimes when they feel like they're down, they'll play for each other to get the shuttle below tape, to get the shuttle above tape, so they can gain initiative in the attack. And when they have that formation, it's very difficult. You've got to defend well. Your margins have to become a little bit tighter, but with that obviously comes mistakes or errors, playing too close to lines.
Well, Julian, I know the respect between coaches is something that is really to be admired amongst the badminton players and countries here at the tournament, but I will try and put you on the spot slightly. If you were down there with the Dutch ladies, what would you be telling them? How would you be getting them to go into this second set after just finding themselves a couple points down in very quick succession there?
I think they're trying to do the right thing. I think they're trying to work the Danes first and try to find a few more holes, either in front of the Danes or over the corners with a bit more height to actually make them work a little bit more. I think when the Danes play in the box area, it's an opportunity for them to gain initiative in an attack. So I think the depth is really important, and obviously the width for the Dutch to use a little bit more now. That's a good block from Muskens there, forcing the error. I think it's really important the Dutch stay really patient in these rallies, not trying to do too much too early. Easy said than done.
And the second set, almost a straight copy of the first so far.
Yeah, again, Pedersen knows that it's an urgent time now and really got on well on top of that serve really early there. Again, pressure back. Danes serving again.
And a catalogue of fantastic shots there. One better than the next.
I think the Dutch, it's a shame there. The Dutch, the first few shots of the rally did the right thing, relifting the Danes. I think then they blocked too early. Gave the Danes the initiative, and then they struggled from that point on.
It was a fantastic shot, that one there, by Piek, doing the right thing, trying to play it across, and then just unlucky with the return.
Yeah, great shot from Juhl there. It's a great time to have a net cord. Who say they don't try? It's another enforced error.
That was a close one, right decision though.
Still surviving the Dutch here. It's a really important time again though.
And then again, they let themselves down.
Yeah, I think sometimes when those situations happen, you feel like you've got to get the points back as quick as possible. But again, service error there, and then the Danes are back to serving.
And again, that error coming after a real energy-filled rally as well.
Yeah, it's a good move from Piek. That's great play. Great cutout from Piek there. And a slight different bit of pace change to get the shuttle below tape and in front of the Danes.
And the fans showing their appreciation for the ladies from the Netherlands as well.
Great touch.
Slowly starting to get behind them as well here in the arena.
Yeah, and they still look really confident in there, which is a great thing to see. Definitely not fazed by the Danes.
And normally Juhl, the powerhouse, Pedersen, showing that she can deliver if she needs to as well there.
Yeah, great response from the rally before. It's a little bit like, well, we're going to take this next one. And ultra aggressive play, and again executed really well.
And again, the Dutch hold on.
Yeah, Muskens really ready on the flat game there. Responded well to that challenge. And then a good placement to Pedersen to force the error. Again, the right thing from the Dutch, trying to pull the Danes, get them moving a little bit more. Great turn from Piek, but then a quick switch from Pedersen, and then the error comes from Piek. I think the beginning of the rally is the right style, but it's very difficult to keep that style going because the Danes are very good at switching that around very quickly. If you play any loose shots, it's normally punished very quick, and then it just means that the Dutch have to be really, really ready.
And if anything, it just goes to show how hard it is to play against this Danish duo. You have to be at your best for the entirety of the match.
Yeah, exactly. The concentration levels are very high. Any slight bit of lack of concentration could lead into 5-6 point runs, and then it's very difficult to get that back against this pair. A 3-point cushion again.
But once again, doing just enough, keeping that gap, never really letting them run away with it too much.
Yeah, I think they've had a quite good success rate in the longer rallies, the Dutch. I think that's something that I think they really need to try to keep doing in this match if they're going to stand a chance of winning. Must play longer rallies.
So Pedersen and Juhl 16-14 up.
Selena there saying it's a bad time. And I don't think the Danes will be too worried about that one. Take another 3-point lead again. The Danes are closing in.
Not far to go now. But the Dutch surely not ones to let them have it easily. And once again, showing a real resolve and a resilience, determination. It's all been there, just let down by mistakes at crucial times.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good example, that rally there. They defended well and then managed to switch the roles to get the attacking position, then force the error from Juhl. And again, it's in an area where the Danes are really good, but it's really important to still challenge them in those areas, just to make sure that they know they're awake. It's good placement on attack from Muskens. The awareness was there, the gap was there.
And she knows.
But just the error comes again.
How important that was.
And then we go to a 3-point run again.
And you have to feel for the Dutch, because you feel they were just on the cusp of producing that perfect performance that would have been what was needed to take the title.
Yeah, I think that's the difficult thing, that the Danes make you play quality shots. You have to play tight shots, and obviously with that becomes sometimes you'll give errors away. But now is a critical time. They can't afford to give any simple errors away now. That's good play. Great width on the block from Piek. You see there, just push slightly wider down the line. And then again, it's onto around the head side.
Set it up beautifully, a great shot. And then was just lurking at the net in case anything it did come back. Made no mistake with the finish.
Yeah, really strong position from Piek. That's a perfect shot. I mean, that's something that they need to do more. Muskens takes that early and tries to whip out to a back corner, get the Danes working a little bit deeper in the court, which allows the space in at the front to be a little bit more exposed.
And I went for the flick serve there.
Good speed from Pedersen off the flick serve there. Created the angle, and then Juhl's there just to make sure the deal's done at the front.
And the Dutch coach there, he's got a smile on his face. I think he's proud of his girls out there.
Yeah, he'll be telling them just to enjoy it and relax and enjoy the challenge. And they're doing well. They're responding. Some miscommunication from the Dutch.
Both players just caught between two minds there.
Nobody really taking initiative there. And now very difficult times for the Dutch.
3 match points, 3 championship points.
This is where the Danes are so good, very clinical in key points.
And with that one in, and quite clearly in as well, it's back-to-back titles for Pedersen and Juhl. Pedersen picks up her second goal to really cap off a perfect weekend for her, for them. Not really surprised by the outcome, possibly even surprised at how well the Dutch did and how far they pushed them all the way to the end.
Yeah, I mean, they responded well at times when the Danes were getting away from them and managed to get close again. But I think pretty much the second set there, they always seem to have that three-point cushion, that extra little bit of something to change the game. And it's exactly what happened. I think I said before the match we were looking at 18s and 17s. And that's
I was a betting man, Julian. I think I'd come to you next time. Got that absolutely spot on. The fans showing their appreciation. Another fantastic tournament, another fantastic performance. Getting the crowd pumped up as well, and you can see what it means to them. So in the zone on the court, and probably just relief now.
Yeah, it's obviously great relief, but I think these type of matches where you win a European title, it's great confidence. And obviously these two have got the Olympics now, which is the major target now. And obviously, as you can see, they're very, very pleased with that win. And again, without dropping a set all week, very confident mood. They'll be very confident going into Rio now, and they're playing a really high level against the best pairs in the world, and they're a really big threat.
And as for the Dutch, what can they take away from this fantastic experience? So close to pulling off a shock victory. Piek, especially, I think, was the real surprise of the match. I mean, surprise perhaps a disservice to her, because they're both fantastic players, her and Muskens, but Piek at times looked like she was a woman on a mission.
Yeah, I mean, she's the danger player in the partnership. Muskens is a very creative player that will work and doesn't normally give a lot of errors away. But obviously Piek is the more aggressive style player, but with that also comes some errors in there. And I think today they just came at the wrong time when the Dutch were getting back very close to the Danes. A few errors crept in at critical stages, and the thing is with the Danes, they don't let them off the hook. Their opponents, they're very much, okay, well, you give us those 3 points and we're going to take our own now, and that's pretty much how the match panned out today.
Well, it was a pleasure to watch. Julian, it's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for joining us. We'll leave you with the highlights. It's au revoir from Julian.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, and hopefully, who knows, maybe we'll meet again.
Perhaps we'll meet
at
again.
a badminton tournament in the not too distant future. As for what's coming up next, it's the award ceremony for the women's doubles, and we'll be bringing you that in just a moment. And welcome back for the awards ceremony here for the women's doubles. A fantastic final. The favorites coming through in the end. I'm joined again by Jakob Ahoy. Hoy, or should I say Jakob? Excuse me.
Either way.
Either way works, thank you. That'll do me just fine. What did you think of the women's doubles final? A really impressive display by the Dutch, especially Piek.
Well, I have to say that I was on-off, in and out of the arena, but I believe that the performances were showing that they can play and they can follow the pace, but also that when it comes to critical points, the Danes, they have more set pieces and they're a little bit more lethal on their attacks. On the follow-up, I don't think it was a pretty performance throughout from the Danes. I think they had several choices in that second set where they went into some part of the front court game that they didn't have to do, but just to stress it. So after all, it was the right winners of the tournament in women's doubles. They are by far the best pair we have in Europe.
Well, they back it up. Here we're looking at Barning and Jabeling. Fantastic performance by them this tournament. I'm sure they didn't expect to get as far as they did. Have to give credit where credit's due.
Well, the fact that Holland have two women's doubles on the podium today, that is a fantastic achievement from them. And I know that that bronze medal for the Dutch girls is something they're really, really happy about.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to see smiles on their faces. They weren't there yesterday, but the difference 24 hours can make, and a nice bronze medal around your neck at the European Championships can really turn things around quickly. And a fantastic tournament in the women's doubles from start to finish. What was your highlight, Jakob? In the women's doubles.
Sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Sorry. I'm probably very biased on the tournament.
That's okay. I think
because
if we're all honest,
so
most
much on the
people
line.
are. Yeah.
It's the last tournament of the Olympic qualification. We've had from the English side some girls that have been fighting that, according to seedings, it wouldn't have any influence, but they did have opportunities, and that has hurt for them that they've been so close for so long. But actually, for 12 months, several tournaments never made it happen. I think for this tournament, it went the way it should go, and I actually look at the podium, and we have two senior players on the top of the podium. They have delivered. Camilla and Christina have delivered against the absolute best players in the world, so they are where they should be. If we look at the other 6 players in there, that's young players, and they have at least one Olympic in front of them, both Tokyo and probably even 24. So there's lots of prospects for European women's doubles, and yeah, as a coach, it's just interesting to see both the constellations, combinations, but also, okay, what does the future look like? Well, that is the future that's on that podium.
Well, wise words from Jakob Hoy. We just saw Muskens and Piek pick up their silver medal, and now it's a time for the defending champions, now the 2-time champions back-to-back, Juhl and Pedersen, and Pedersen picking up her 2nd gold of the day. Fantastic for her, fantastic for both of them, and it continues to be fantastic for Denmark.
Yeah, I think for these two girls, it's to get to the level where they are in women's doubles, because that is both a style, both technically, tactically, physically. They can bring something onto the court that no other women's double pair in the world can do. They are both either medalist, gold medalist, Juhl from 2009 mixed doubles, a medalist from London in Olympics, Christina in mixed, and they can take those qualities from the mixed and then work it out and make it happen in women's doubles. That's incredible, and it's a really good effort both from them and for their coaches to make that actually happen and come out in real life.
Well, fantastic to watch, and we will sit back and enjoy their and your Jakob national anthem. And that's all she wrote for the women's doubles. We'll be right after a very short break. We'll be right back, excuse me. After a very short break, I'll be joined by Jakob here, excuse me. So many different co-commentators today, struggling to keep up with it myself. But we've got a fantastic last final in the men's doubles coming up. So don't go anywhere. As always, you're already in the right place.